Hi. In today's world, people seem to be happy not considering other folks. And what I mean by that is this. When it comes down to a person of a different culture, a different nationality, or whatever the difference may be, some folks like to consider those folks less than. And it's amazing because Jesus got a parable about the Good Samaritan that really deals with just that. Dealing with folks that think that they're on this level and everybody else is down on this level. You know, whether it's a class or a race, pick your poison on it. You know, this person isn't good enough to do this, or this person isn't good enough to do that. The one thing I want to say is this. We are all made after the image of God. And we should respect God's workmanship. Let's go to Luke chapter 10, verse 30. And it reads, in reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. When he fell into the hands of robbers, they stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Now, here's what I want you to see. The world. There are people in the world. A man going down to Jerusalem to Jericho. He's going down this road. This road is the same road that we go through daily. It is the world. When we leave our homes, when we wake up, leave our homes, go to our jobs, go to the schools, whatever it is that you go out and do, when you go out to the world, you are going out into the world. You are going on that road to Jericho. So let me start right there. On the road to Jericho, wherever we're at, it is always opportunities out there. What does that mean? It is folks out there, and I'm going to use the word bad folks, that want what you want, but they don't want to do what they need to do to get it. They rather snatch it from you. They don't even want to ask you for it. In some cases, you can walk up to some folks and say, hey, man, I need $10. And they may give you the $10. Some people want to do exactly what they did. Stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. That goes under the home invasions and robbing people on the streets and all of this stuff. And then you also got the robberies that people do. And again, this is all part of considering others. I'm not considering you. I'm only considering myself. Robbing others and sending text message talking about, hey, a loved one is in trouble. You need to send me some money. They have got real creative out of robbing and beating you out of the things that you have. This is what the world has. This is the reason why the more we consider one another, the better off we are. It's an elderly person probably in your neighborhood right now that they're getting a text or something talking about somebody's in trouble. And the sheer fact that during that day when you're walking out the door, you're running out the door and you're late for work and that elderly person stops you and say, hey, I got this text that says that, you know, they're going to foreclose on my house and I need to do this. And you're the one that sit here. Here's the considering others. Here's the empathy piece. You go in and you look and you go, whoa, Miss So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so. No, don't respond to this. Well, they ask me for my bank info. No, I don't need you to give them no bank information. Why? Because they are trying to strip you of your clothes, beat you, and leave you half dead. This is why it's so important for us to consider one another. Everybody ain't good. Luke Bryan makes a song that says, I believe most people are good. I do. I'm gonna go in that boat. I do believe that most people are good. At the end of the day, most people want to take care of their families. They want what's good for the world and the earth, for the most part. But you got those folks that's going to strip you of your clothes, beat you, and they will leave you half dead, and they could care less if you're homeless or not. They could care less if you're carless or not. How many times have you went and looked on the news and it's been news shows on people getting their cars stolen from organizations that their job is to go out and help other people. But yet they get beaten and stripped of their clothes and the car gets taken away. Why? Because that person's, their wants and their desires is more important than yours. They are not considering one another. Our world is slowly but surely falling into that. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of things going on where we're not considering one another. In this story, we also had a priest and a Levite that saw this same man laying on the side of the road and walked right by him. Now, one of the reasons why I think Jesus used the priest and the Levite, because he needed to, a lot of us put people of positions of power up here. They can be ornery, evil, and mean as well. Just because you have a position, and folks, I done held all kinds of positions in my life. I can name a grocery list of positions I done held in my life. Them positions mean nothing. If when I see a man that's half dead on the ground, I'm passing him by. I see that you need, I'm passing you by. I don't consider others, I'm passing them by. I don't care how holy or great or much money I got. When I'm not considering others and I'm passing people by, I'm not doing anybody any good. I'm not respecting God's workmanship. We're all made in the image of God. When I walk by, because I'm high and mighty and my nose is up in the air and you're beneath me. When I do that, I'm not respecting God's workmanship. Art comes in many different colors, many different shapes, and many different sizes. I want you to think about that. When you go to any art museum, all over the world, you see different pieces. None of that stuff is straight up, boom, this is how it's supposed to be. It's a standard there. There's no standard for art. And there's no standard for God's workmanship when it comes to men and women. Believers know that everybody, even the quote unquote least of us, is part of God's creation and workmanship. And we should respect that. Now let's look at the Samaritan. Luke 10, verse 33. Because I got to read this out the Bible because I want you to really get this. Samaritan was the least in this culture at this time. Some of you folks know how I feel like to be the least. You done walked in places, and just because of the way you looked, you were the least. Just because the way you sound, you didn't use the right verbiage, you were the least. Just because you got out of a certain automobile, you were the least. Jesus used this Samaritan here purposely to tell us there's no least. All God's people are the image of God, period. Now, whether they be obedience to God's word, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother lesson. We're not going to get into it right now. But the thing is part of considering others is considering everyone. Watch this. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, half dead. Remember it says in the verse, they left him half dead. And when he saw him, he took pity on him. So those cats that walked by, that priest and that Levi, the big dog, the ones this is my such and such. This is the ornery person that was so ornery, they didn't even look at that half-dead man. They passed him by. The Samaritan, took pity. Looked to say, oh my goodness. Folks, we got to take pity on people. We got to have empathy for people. We got to be willing to consider other people. It ain't always about us. He went to him, he bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey. I put the bloody man in the back seat of my car, or the front seat of my car, and took him to an inn and took care of him. Took him to a hospital and took care of him. The next day, wait a minute. Did y'all catch that? He provided the man transportation. The priest didn't do it. The Levite didn't do it. The high and mighty didn't do it. The Samaritan did it. The least did that. The least was blessed with a vehicle to get him to a place, an inn to take him to, and the ability to go there and pay for the inn. And the ability to stay with him, wait a minute, till the next day. Catch that. He didn't just go, oh man, I'm out. No, man, I got to make sure this brother is good. Man, took pity on him, empathy, respecting God's workmanship, considering others. Next day, he tore his whole day up with this guy because it was that important to him. It should be that important to us to consider other people. The next day he took 2 silver coins, gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said. And when I return, oh man, that's called credit. That's when you whip that credit card. Hey, put it on my tab. I got this. And when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. The least took his black card out, his gold card out, his platinum card out, and said, I'm going to take care of this person. The least considered other people. That man wouldn't have had a snowball chance in hell if the least didn't consider one another. And I want you to walk away from this thinking all people, all humans, whether you like them or not, is the workmanship of God. We're all created in the image of God. And when you sit back and want to judge and discriminate and abuse folks, you want to put tears on God's workmanship, you are not respecting God's workmanship. You are not considering others. And this is the reason why daily we travel through on the road to Jericho, because the world is like the road of Jericho, because those that don't respect us, those that don't respect God's workmanship, those that don't consider one another will leave you, your children, your parents, beat up, half naked, and dead. That's what their plan is. This is why we have to express, we must consider one another and respect God's workmanship as the Samaritan, as the least did. There's no such thing as the least. Believers know that. We are all made after the image of God. The message is yours. Happiness is not getting what you want, but wanting what you have. Take care. Till next time. Peace.